welcome to another episode of 2 Cent Tuesday. We have a letter today that might affect many of you out there, so let's get to it. This one comes to us from Ronnie. Ronnie writes, "Hi Doc, I hope my letter isn't too long, but I really need your advice. I just learned that my 58-year-old sister, who owns her own home with a mortgage, had my dad, who is 80, take out a $7,000 loan for her to get her central air and heating system. This took place 10 months ago, and now there's family confusion because my sister hasn't paid the bill in 3 months. But it gets worse. This loan is actually a line of credit and came with a credit card. Every time my sister made a payment, she would use the available credit on the card, so the loan balance hasn't gone down. My dad is from a period where you pay your bills on time because Black people weren't always extended credit. About a month ago, my father began to receive collection calls from the bank. My dad confronted my sister about not paying the bill, and she hung up on him and will not answer his calls. He asked me to call my sister to find out what was going on. Well, Doc, my conversation with her didn't go any differently. Now she is not speaking to any of us. I want to press charges for elder abuse, but my dad doesn't want his business in court. So, Doc, what would you do to get my sister to pay her bill and bring the family back together? Sincerely, Ronnie." Well, Ronnie, thank you so much for your letter. Now here's my 2 cents. First of all, let me congratulate you on having a father who has lived to a ripe age of 80. That must feel wonderful. I am so sorry to hear that your family is experiencing this at this time, and hopefully it doesn't overshadow your father's life now and his legacy. Unfortunately, you are in good company in having this problem. According to the CDC, the overwhelming number of elder abuse cases happens at the hands of a family member. So this is more common than you would think. There are multiple types of elder abuse that are identified in the literature. The CDC lists that there is physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, neglect, psychological abuse, and what your family is currently experiencing, which is financial abuse. And unfortunately, many parents don't want to prosecute their children. So a lot of times these cases go unreported and also unprosecuted. So this is not uncommon, and I'm quite sure that the statistics and the numbers and knowing that it's happening a lot probably doesn't bring much solace to your family at this time. But I would say that it's important to note that there are other people out there, and there might be people who you can kind of get emotional support, because in reading your letter, it seems as if this, for good reason, has upset you to the point that you are really trying not to go over there and snatch her up. We can't have you doing that, Ronnie. Don't go over there. Don't go over there. Dad doesn't want to prosecute her. That's your grown sister. She's 58, but that's still his baby daughter. And so he wants to protect her. Now, what I will say, Ronnie, you've heard me say on other episodes, remember the old saying, when people show you who they are, believe them. You said your sister is 58. Now, I don't know her, and I'm not a mind reader, but I would take a guess that she has engaged in shady behavior for a long time before this. If she's 58, you know she's been trifling Ronnie for at least the last 30 years. Come on now. So this shouldn't really be surprising to you or your other family members. So it should serve as a wake-up call that your family might need to step in and protect your dad from your sister, at least as it relates to his finances. You might think about having a trusted family member take over power of attorney for his finances and his medical decisions if he consents. Unfortunately, legally, you can't take those rights away from him if he is still of sound mind, regardless of any physical condition or his body condition. So if he's cognizant, if he's lucid, if he is in his right mind, he has a right to say whether he wants to take care of his finances or whether he wants someone else in the family to do it. But you might think about doing something like that. At minimum, there needs to be some kind of barrier between he and your sister, at least as it relates to his finances. I would also say that as a family, get together and strategize, but is $7,000 really worth it when you think about it? If she's done things in the past, which I tell you again, I'm quite sure that she has, y'all might have to suck this up and take it as a loss. If he doesn't press charges and we're not going to have you do anything physically to her, you might have to take this as a loss, what my mother used to call a bought lesson. Come together with the rest of your family, decide how you're going to handle it, acknowledge that this sister has some shady behavior, put safeguards in place so that your father can continue to live the rest of his years in peace and harmony with his children and with the rest of the family. If you suspect elder abuse or if you're a victim of elder abuse, you can always contact the National Elder Abuse Hotline at the number below, and they will send out an investigator. It is so important for those who are unable to protect themselves to be protected. Ronnie, that's just my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. And if any of you who are watching have something that you want Doc Erica to chime in on, feel free to hit me up at the email address below. Until then, remember, therapy matters.